Hi everybody. Today I'm going to talk about one of the most important and painful topics for artists. It's the job, the full-time job, the 9 to 5 job, the thing that all the artists hate to have, but still most of us need it to sustain our life, to cover our bills, because we all live in capitalism and all that stuff. And it's very, very fucking difficult to earn money from art itself. So here today I'm going to share the most smart decisions and points on full-time job in my opinion, and also the harshest mistakes about approach to the job for artists. First of all, I want to mention that not everybody actually understands why artists avoid going to full-time job, and the real reason is that job sucks all the energy and all the mental resource out of you during the day. Not only you feel physically exhausted, but also you have a lack of mental powers to generate creative ideas, or to make the research that you need for your project, or to do a lot of social media stuff, or to visit the exhibitions and meetings for artists, do the networking, because it's also very crucial if you want to grow in your art career. And another thing is doing the applications for open calls, for residencies, searching for grants, and doing all that kind of stuff, doing a lot of writing, all the explications for the works, all this stuff for the exhibitions, and that's a lot of a job. That's a lot of things to do, and it not only takes a lot of time, but also a lot of mental resource and focus. So it's very, very hard and almost impossible to do such a big thing alongside the full-time job. But here are several tips and several cases that might help you. And also, if you'll watch till the end of a video, I'll name the list of the jobs that for me are acceptable or not. So this may be interesting for you if you are now looking for a job and thinking about different opportunities. So you may find something interesting in my feedback on that. Let's go. The first thing that a lot of beginner artists face is that they are actually not ready to sacrifice the certain level of comfort due to grow in the art sphere. You need to be ready to focus only on your art practice. And might be not only, but mostly. You need to cover the financial base. You need to pay all your necessary bills, but not look to the heights of luxury life, and even maybe be more ascetic and very careful with your budget, because you need to understand that to sustain the very high level of income, you need to work a lot, and if you will work a lot, you would not have any time or opportunity to actually start building your art career. So at first, you need to make a compromise and build a very balanced lifestyle between your work and your art career that needs support and time to grow. So the first tip, not put your financial expectations too high. Focus on your art practice, on developing the networking, on building your portfolio, and all that necessary things. One of the most common problem between the job and art is that people push themselves into the professions that need to be very intricate and have the very high level of skills, which takes a lot of mental resources. So what I'm talking about, people trying to work at the daytime as an engineers, like some high-grade professionals, the IT developers, or whatever it is, the professions that need the very high level of skill takes a lot of energy, and it's not the best job to take if you want to develop the art career at the same time, because you will not have resources for your art when you'll have your free time, your weekend, because you will be exhausted and your focus will be mostly on your job, and it would be very, very difficult to change the direction of your thinking, the mind flow. You need to keep your mind mostly free for your art ideas and not focus very much and very specific into your professional thing. Okay? The part of that case is the creative jobs. When you're working in marketing, in design, or in any kind of jobs that need you to constantly generate creative ideas, to find solutions, to produce something intellectually very intricate and make a lot of decisions, it will also exhaust you very much. Most of the time, going to the creative jobs, artists think that it can help them, and sometimes at some points this is the case, and I will talk about it later. But most of the time, the job they do only distract them from their own artistic projects and not helping to develop the necessary skills. So think twice when you look into the creative job. Is it really in your niche? Does it complete your artistic practice or extend your artistic practice? Can you, for example, do something similar on your job that you want to do on your art projects? It needs to be really close to that to be profitable, because otherwise you're just wasting your creative potential, your mental resources on the job, and have a lack of it on your art projects. And mostly on creative jobs, you get a lot of frustration about the projects because you put so much of yourself. As an artist, you have this approach to be excited about the project. You think of it really precisely, and most of the times the client are not really excited about the projects as you do, and they make a lot of changes to that. So it may be really frustrating, and it's also brings the emotional destruction that is not helping you to develop your own projects. Another thing is when your job goes with you to your home. Like the cases when your workflow needs you to continue your working project at the spare time. If you have some things that you need to think about, if you have some extra documentation that you need to do at home, if you have some, I don't know, statistic documents that you need to fill, anything that extends your time at work kills your artistic development, because, well, that's obvious. Your free time should be for you, should be completely free and not partly free, okay? So at your weekends, at your free time, you need to have your thoughts and your physical time absolutely free and not distracted by anything, only available for your art projects. In many cases, people think about freelance, and I myself worked as a freelancer for the last years. And I may say that it is a very, very thin line between the good decisions to go to the freelance and the bad decision to go to the freelance. Because if you need to earn a lot to cover your bills, let's say you have the credits or kids or something like that, you would need a lot of extra effort to find clients, to build your freelancer identity, to earn more money by yourself, because it is also the whole lot of work except your freelance project is building your brand, market yourself and do all that stuff. So the freelance is only good when you can earn enough for your basic stuff doing a very small amount of projects. So if you don't need a lot of clients to earn enough money to cover your bills, that's okay decision. Because let's say I have worked as a 3D artist living in Georgia for about a week in the month, and it was enough to cover the rent and also buy some basic food. And I had no extra expenses. I didn't buy anything except the necessary things. So if you are able to work in that kind of flow, do a little bit of job, earn a little bit of money, and continue creating, that might be okay. But that's still very tricky, so be careful with that. The good case, and it is actually luckily the thing that I have right now, is when the job gives you enough money as a salary and also allows you to make some extra profit out of it. And the thing I'm talking about is the connections, some extra materials, some extra skills, or maybe the place or something like that, except your salary, that can help you to develop your art projects. Because in my case, as I said earlier, I'm working in a studio that creates all the stuff for the galleries and exhibitions. So we are producing a lot of stuff and we are installing it, and it allows me, of course, get some money out of it, but more than that, to build the connections in the institutional sphere, to meet the administrators of different museums and galleries, to meet people, also to develop my crafting skills that are really relevant to my artistic projects. And that's very important. As I said before, talking about the creative jobs, is that you need to have the relevant workflow at your job to your art process. So I'm working with wood a lot, I'm working with metal, with different kind of tools, and that's helping me to create my own art projects, because that's also my medium that I want to develop in. So more than that, I have an access for trash materials. So it's kind of free materials, some plywood, some leftovers that go to the trash from the production, but might be useful for my art projects. And that's also one of the criteria that you should look for when looking at this kind of jobs on the physical workshops and productions and stuff. Think of something that can bring you extra profit, okay? Another good idea, or the good compromise about the job, when it doesn't take very much of intellectual effort of you. So this is the type of jobs that have the hidden amount of free time inside the workflow itself. Let's say administrative works, when you're about to talk to the clients, but you don't have the constant traffic of clients. Maybe you work in the reception or any kind of this stuff. And also it includes some mechanical work, like working on the warehouses or something like that, when you don't need to think much to do your job. You have some free time inside your head, inside your creative space, to generate new ideas, to think about your projects, to think about the concepts, and then make the notes during the day, and then rethink them in your spare time and start building your projects in the materiality after having all the intellectual containing part of it calculated during your work. So it also might be the good case to look for the job that allows you to think about your own things while doing the primer work. Okay. And if you have no opportunities to make the balance between work and the art practice at the same time, my advice would be to put yourself a deadline, let's say 6 months or 1 year, to focus on the job that you have access to or that you can do right now, to earn a lot of money, the most amount of money that you can during that period, and save the most amount of money that you can. So still, don't look for extra expenses. Try to save as much as you can during that period, and then after the deadline, leave the job and use your saved capital to support you during the development of your art career. So it also might be the strategy, maybe a little bit more frustrating, but still fitable. But you need to be very, very strong in your decision to end this period of earning the capital. It's very difficult, and you can get dragged into that routine, but you need to set the exact goal that after 1 year, you leave all the jobs and you start to build your art career, like make a strong promise to yourself. Well, and now, as I said in the beginning, here is the list of the jobs that, in my opinion, are good or bad for the artists to take in the beginning of their career. Delivery and couriers absolutely not acceptable because it takes a lot of physical effort and also puts a lot of stress for you to manage all the schedules, to focus on the time and all that kind of stuff. So forget about it. No delivery job, it won't help you in any case. Workshops, studios, or physical production of items. As I said before, yes, it might fit you, but only if the workflow in this exact studio fits your own artistic interests and help you to develop your skills in that exact niche. Let's say woodworking or metal welding or something like that, yeah, ceramics. This is also relevant for digital creators. So yes, you can do your digital creative stuff, the marketing stuff, the illustration, the 3D art, any kind of that, if that's the medium that you likely would work with. So if you are working with new media, working with digital art, yes, you got it. That can be fitting for you. But even if you're a painter, like traditional painter, or if you're doing sculptures, doing the digital illustration is completely not relevant to your skill set and it would not fit you. Teaching also might fit if it's relevant, again, to your artistic practice. It also is very helpful in terms of networking. You can build the kind of network through your students and also meet the new colleagues and another people in your sphere that would be helpful for developing your art career. So yes, teacher in some artistic niche that is relevant for you will also fit. Barista or waiter, that's absolutely not. It's as a delivery, it's absolutely exhausting in both physical and mental areas. So no. No McDonald's, no cafeterias. Working in the galleries and in museums might be fitting in different approaches as an administrator or as a hard duty workers. It can be really helpful to get involved into this institutional structure, to know the people, to know the environment, to see how the things are built, how the exhibitions are constructed and managed. That all would help you to build your own experience. So that can be really, really helpful also. The roles of the people who are talking to clients, let's say in the post office maybe, or in some kind of delivery posts, or maybe the laundry, I don't know, any kind of administrative job when you can sit and take your time until the clients come and need something. You have the gaps of time during the workday to think about your projects, to build the creative ideas. So yeah, these kind of jobs might fit, but it's kind of more a difficult compromise that you need to get okay with. All right, that's it for now. I hope that it was helpful for you. Please leave the comments telling about your cases because it is very important to share and to know about each other's situations. We all learn and we all grow together. So I would be very happy to see your stories about your occupation and what kind of jobs fit to you and help your artistic progress. Or maybe you know somebody and you can tell their stories. Also, please hit the like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video because, of course, it will help the channel a lot. And also, if you want to help me even more, you may buy me a coffee. I have Ko-Fi profile and the link is in the description. So you may leave me a tip and I will be very grateful for that. Thanks a lot for watching. Keep creating and I'll see you in the next one.